So the start of the highlights are going well. I don't see. I don't know if you see them properly, but I've done a very slight. Wait, I'm gonna try to. Is it better? That's not. I've done a very slight highlight on top of the hips and on top of the shoulders. Very slight, ever slight highlight, and I'm gonna. It's very light, but actually there's a highlight I've put there, and I'm gonna put even lighter one afterwards. So what am I gonna take for the lighter one? Something very light, I guess. This skeleton bone is gonna do the trick, I think. Now the trick is going to put very little paint, because I don't want to overdo it at all. But I definitely want to put a little bit of light on top of this gambizon. Anyway, if I overdo it a little bit, I'll do a dark wash. So I'll be fine, but I want to avoid overdoing it in any case. These Fireforge miniatures were nice and really inexpensive, but they're a little smaller than the others 28 millimeter miniatures. When you compare them with another one, they're standing a little smaller, but it's no real issue. They just all look to be short people. It's not an issue. It's not really shocking on the tabletop. You don't really notice it, but they are a little bit. Actually a little smaller. Wow. This is nice, see? Well, yes, another stream, hi man. Okay, that's really good, I can now see. I've changed the display a little bit, and I've put a netbook on the side. Cool. So I can now see your messages without looking on top of my my phone. I can see them on the right on another screen. This is gonna be way better because I could install my recording device smartphone higher. It's not in the way, so I can actually properly see my miniature. So this is gonna be a lot nicer. So cool. I'm happy to see you're here and that the chat works, because the netbook I'm using is very old and doesn't work very well, so I'm happy it works. That's one less issue to have. As you can see, I'm still working on gambizons, but this time I'm starting to work with brown gambizons. I've got many brown miniatures I have to paint, but I'm gonna go a lot faster than I did yesterday. Because I have many miniatures to paint, so. And besides, I think I'm gonna do other miniatures that are a little more interesting to paint than just these gambizons that are not, not that fun to watch or to paint. So still working on the toilet rolls. Wasn't it you working on this yesterday? I think it was you. I don't remember. Painting is amazing. Works really well to enhance contrast and, you know, make a miniature, pop it all out, give it more, how do you say, more flesh, more, yeah, it was you. So is it going as you want? Is it working? I'm not gonna ask you what's your idea, because I guess it's kind of a surprise. I didn't participate to the last, the 3 last build-offs. The only one I participated was the paperclip challenge. It was nice, but it's only because I had found something, you know, for the climbing vines. I had found this technique for a holder, and one of the subs told me I could, you know, use it and present it for the paperclip challenge. But it's great. It's really nice, the craft off challenge. I nearly did the lid, the plastic lid one, but I couldn't find the time with the job and all. You saw my entrance? Yeah, you're right. Well, I hope you'll have nice 3 days holidays. The climbing tower, yeah. The climbing tower. The holders I made for these were mainly made from paper clips. So there's that. There's that. And honestly, I think I'm gonna go really fast on these miniatures, because they're not. This character will never be very important for the story. So I think I'm gonna. Main idea is to make them pop out a little bit, but yeah. I had some kind of yellow, some kind of fleshy yellow. One of my oldest paints. Where is it? Isn't it? Is it this one? Medium flesh tone? Yeah, I think it's medium flesh tone. I'm not sure. Let's see. So you're still in Japan, right, Victoria? Shit, I'm doing real. That was really stupid of me. Okay, that was really stupid of me. Because we are not speaking to you, much to you, yeah, I don't remember to which thing I said. I think it's a, you know, there's a time difference between the chat and the actual time I speak. So by the time I see your comments, I'm not actually sure to which thing I said you know, you react. So I don't understand. It's okay, you know, you've got something to do. Just if you have something to ask me, tell me. But I'm gonna need some real brown actually, so maybe this leather brown will be good. Is it a little too... Let's see. Which one is lighter? This one is slightly lighter. I think I'm gonna take the monster brown. You live in Japan for 4 years, right? Okay. Okay. And is it for work or both work and you got your family there, I guess? So did you move with your family coming from Spain, or did you meet someone in Japan? How did it work? Or meet someone, you know, in Spain and got back to Japan with someone Japanese? No, I think the problem lies with me, you know. I don't think it's your fault. The netbook is having a very hard time with the connection. So probably your messages appear real time on my smartphone, but I can't see them. Okay. I'm gonna dilute it a little more, so I can keep these highlights, but make a better transition. Yeah. Shit, I must be careful not to put anything, because of my wife and children. I work in kitchen. You work in kitchen? You mean a restaurant? I've never played Warcraft. Oh, you mean before these 2 years, you never played? You've played. You've done some craft since then. I saw some craft. You did already, if I'm correct. So you have a gaming group, or you can find time to play these days. Anyway, you're not. You're totally right. This community is really nice. Yes, you are a cook. Okay. No, that's what I understood. You know, working in kitchen. Okay, okay. Well, is it nice? Do you like it? Your job, the place you work, must be quite interesting but stressful. Working in a team like that. Yeah, well, I think you say you cook. I don't know. There are some specific words, I guess. So in Japan, you're a cook, so I guess you must be preparing a lot of, fishes, sushis, and stuff like that. Last year, first time. Well, just like me, mate. Never played. Well, that's a bummer. I'm sure you could find many. I like my work, but it's so difficult to manage. No free time. Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Oh man, take you have to take advantage of these 3 days. Have a good time, spend time with your family, get time to do your own stuff. Yeah, I guess now you're a professional. That's cool. Do you still like eating fish? Because I don't know if you're working with it all day. Maybe you don't like it anymore, but or maybe you've eaten too much of that kind of food. But it's pretty amazing. We like eating sushi from time to time. We've got cravings sometimes. Of course, I'm sure the sushis here are lots. I'm sure the sushis in Japan are a lot better, but we also try to do some home sushis. These are always better, but we're no cook. We just do it, you know, for us. But yeah, you gotta try to find a gaming group. You know, probably not DMing if you haven't played, but you can be a player from time to time, and yeah, I like some. Yeah, you like fish. Yeah, it's good. But yeah, if you want to play, I'm sure in Japan you'll find many gaming groups. I'm sure D&D or other systems are pretty. I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure it is. And you could, I don't know, be a player. But I think you have to look out. There must be some. Many French. Yeah, I imagine. I'm really no expert. I don't really know much about Japanese food, but I definitely like to go to the Japan. I know that both me and my girlfriend. So one day, I guess we'll go there and learn a little more about the different kind of fishes. She actually knows a little more about this than me. Yeah, no times. Hey Nicholas, greetings. Yeah, no time. Well, that's rough, man. So basically, what you do is crafting for just for pleasure, right? And in any case, I mean, it's if you don't have time, it's a bummer, but you can still craft. I mean, you got kids, so just crafting with the kids or for the kids is pretty amazing by itself. I still hope you can manage to find some times to play with them. Sometimes, because it's important. Oh, I forgot to put some highlights there. Shit, it was hidden. Yeah. It was a little live stream. I did it for 2 hours, probably under, because I had a lot of trouble with the live stream. But you didn't really miss anything. I was just painting without much success, miniature, and we were just hanging out and talking. So you got for pleasure, and I make battle reports of my games. Battle reports, playing solo. Okay. Well, you never. You've got many kids, you said, so you never actually thought of, spending some times with the kids, actually making them play, because you're basically you got an army of kids, right? So you've already got a D&D group if you want. I mean, the last one obviously is too young, but the other ones, I don't know. I'd be curious. I'm sure playing D&D with kids is pretty fun. Cause you just had your fifth kid, right? Was you, Factoria? Man, 5 kids. Okay, this is pretty cool. Mustn't overdo it. I think I'm gonna do the next one. I'm gonna put some shadows. I'm gonna put some shadows though. Yeah, definitely put some shadows. Cause I'm gonna use a wash. I don't know if it's a good idea actually, but what the hell, I'm gonna try. I like it. Pops out. The arm really doesn't really stands out. But it's because it doesn't really stand out. But I'm sure with the dark wash, it'll work. I'm hesitant. I don't know if I do the dark wash now or afterwards, after doing another miniature. Okay, I'm gonna do the dark wash now because I want to see how it looks. But they are very young yet. Yeah. 2 kids. Oh, so it wasn't you. Who was it? Told me he had just the 5th one. Shit, I don't remember who that was. Yeah, 6 and 4 years old. Well, that's young. But of course, you can't play D&D with them. But you could adapt a system. Role playing is the most important. You can have a very simple system. With very easy dice to determine. Success or failure, or you don't even have to rely on dices. Nice miniature. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy, but very very subtle. But a little bit of light on top of the chest, and at the back, on the hips and on the shoulders. It's not incredible, but it's never gonna be the miniature of a character. Well, I don't think so. It could, but it's just, as I said yesterday, man at arms number 5. Archer number 6. So this one won't really be having a story arc of any kind. So it's alright if the miniature is good enough. It's good. At 4 and my son at 5. Yeah. I think you can really adapt. Of course, it's not gonna be the same kind of universes. You'll have to adapt it to the kids, but I mean, kids already do role play, mostly when they play with each others, and they've got their own rules to their universes. Sometimes the rules are changing, but I think you can start playing RPG very young, but just you have to adapt it. you don't have to have that many rules. But basically, if you're just sitting on the floor and playing with toys with a kid, you're basically role playing most of the time. So you can add some dices and create a simple universe. And I think we mustn't forget that RPG is playing make believe, pretend we're playing someone else. That's really the essence of the game. You can add as much mathematics and dices as you want. Doesn't change a thing. Maybe what you want is an easier system than D&D. D&D is very good, but have you did you ever follow Hanker Infernal from Runehammer? Because he's come up with a very cool system, the IC RPG, with the index cards, and it's going more to the roots of original D&D, and very easy storytelling, and puzzle and action resolve. So you could be interested in such systems because they're a little easier maybe to play, more fast paced. You don't use as many maths, and could be interesting if you've got very young kids. Maybe just to see how it works. I think you can buy it from PDF. I still haven't bought his the volume, the book of the game system, but I definitely want to do it first because I really like his work. I really like Hank, and I want to support him, and also because it looks really cool actually. He's got crazy and very good ideas, so I think I'm gonna buy it. Yeah, because but then again, for very young kids, I think the system he made is still a little too complicated. So you definitely have to make it simpler. But you could definitely get inspired by some of his mechanics because they are really that's really what I like with Hank. He really goes to the essential. Wants to create an adventure, give a sense of speed, but what's not important, you don't put what's not important. I'm sorry, I'm a bit at a loss for words, but I'm sure you get what I mean. You need an easier system for kids. You can do that coming up with that very easily. What I often do is I play with my brother and my younger brother, but he's actually an adult now. But sometimes I play with him, and I play very easy system. If I don't have anything to play with, or maybe only 6 sided dices because it's the only thing we have, I will play a very a story really based on role play, and the only resolve he has to do. He's gonna use d6s, and I don't know, above 4 you have a success. Under it's not good. You could have items that gives you +1, or enemies against which you have -1, but disadvantages or stuff. But you can really do it easier. Yeah, epic, man. He's awesome. Definitely awesome. Not exactly sure I was right to use the this wash, but it'll be all right. I'm sure it'll be all right. But when we grew up, we basically did some role playing and some sort of RPG all along. Even when we were really kids and didn't know about RPG or tabletop, we were already mostly playing and making up some small rules and stuff like that. So for me, RPG and tabletop RPG is just a more complex way to apprehend the playing, creating a world and playing, following some rules to give some challenge, but essentially it's the real essence is just child play, obviously. Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks. I know I can speak properly. Yeah, I really do. I'm not trying to, but I'm sometimes at a loss for words, and it's really annoying for me. Uh, but thanks. I'm glad it's not too shit. I'm glad it's not difficult for you to follow me, or it's not an inconvenience of any kind. It's not too annoying, and if it's not, then everything's alright. Okay. Maybe what I should have done is do a very light, but very diluted, but darker wash, because the recesses, I don't know. Okay, that's good. You know what? That's good. I'm happy. It's all glossy because there's water. It's gonna tone down, and it's good. I think the problem is. Hey, Stefan. My children speak Japanese only. Spanish can understand, but I will try. Role playing is something I discovered now, and I like it. Yeah, it's really cool role playing. For me, it's I love adventures and rolling dices and actions, but yeah, role playing is cool. I started playing RPG before I really used tabletop. I'm not talking about childhood stuff, but actually, playing with systems, complicated systems and stuff. Um, but we used to role play even before using some tabletop elements and visual aids. So it's really the essence of playing some character. But of course, you could apprehend RPG very differently and only be there, for kind of wargaming. You don't really role play when you do some wargaming, but it's amazing nonetheless. It's just not what interests me anymore. I played a little role playing when a little wargaming when I was a teenager. I had a Warhammer army, but I just need to tell stories and to see stories unfold with interesting characters developing. So okay, so he's done, right? I think I fucked up the thing a little bit, but should be good. Who am I going to take? Someone a little more interesting to paint, please. I've got the choice, but I don't know what to choose. Who am I gonna take? Are these ones finished? These ones are good. I think I showed you yesterday. I think it's finished for the at least the. Oh, I guess I could. Yeah, I could do the Gambizon on these one. I think I'll do the Gambizon on these one because he's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I compose RPG and tabletop when there's a big balance. So. Okay. Yeah, obviously if it's both RPG role playing game and tabletop. Well, I'm playing RPG, but we have visual aid on tabletop, so yeah. You don't you don't always need a visual aid, but sometimes it's a good thing. Tu sors te balader? Ok. Oh, I'm completely gridless. And both. Okay, both. No, I am playing gridless, but you know, whatever. I understand the interest for the grid because I don't know, it's more old school and you don't have to measure. But I really like characters to be able to really to go wherever they want to go, and you know to be able to make curves and stuff when they run or jump or stuff like that. But it's just a matter of choice, I guess. Shit, way too much paint. I didn't see there were some. Okay. I'm gonna be able to. I like this miniature. I like it very much. I really like the pose. I think it looks just amazing. I'm really gonna try to paint it very well, because I think it looks so dynamic, so realistic also. It's so nice. Oh, you're welcome, Stefan. I should really put it on the... There you go. This is way better. Tu veux acheter des trucs ou juste faire une balade, Charlotte? Tu veux juste te balader ou? Ok. Pour savoir. Juste comme ça. I think the brush is getting a little damage. Oh. Maybe I should use my I've got binoculars like these. I don't use them right now, but maybe I should. They were offered by my brother-in-law, and they're really nice. Maybe I should use them. I'll be more precise, but I won't be able to read your chats as well. I'm gonna try though. Let's see. Doesn't make a huge difference, but it helps a little bit. Okay. What you can do is put some weight inside, maybe with some sand between the I don't know, because there are some subscribers told me they did them, but depending on the cardboard you put inside, they can end up being a bit too light for what you want to do. Mines are fine because I put many cardboard inside that were very compressed, but they're not that heavy in any case. So maybe try to find a way to weight them down if you want. I'm just telling this because I had some subscribers telling me it should be better weighted down. I didn't find it was an issue for my my own stuff, but hey. Can be an issue apparently. Two solid foam, two pieces of 2-inch glue together. Solid foam. Oh, okay, so you didn't really do them with cardboard inside as I did. Alright. Well, you could put some nails into, or stuff like that to weigh it down. You know, cheap nails, or you know, drill a hole and put some sand inside, but make sure it's well sealed afterwards. I don't know, but cool. Yeah, these walls are super useful. They can be used, you know, to make some, yeah, obviously some stone walls, for, you know, castles. They can be used to make houses, laying flats with a roof. They can be used to, you know, do in big pieces inside the floor of big pieces. If you've got a, you know, a room battle that is very big. Because I have many pieces to play. I've got many Wylock tiles. I've done many Wylock tiles, but these are small. So if you want to do a very big space, it's better to use these walls that are gonna be stacked and put together very fastly. And the Wylock tiles are way better if you're more like inside a dungeon, exploring from, you know, in corridors and stuff like that with small rooms. Oh, the computer kind of crashed. Is it just wake up? Can't see the messages if you're in sleep mode. Yeah, I'll come around. So basically, what this guy has is in Brigandine, right? How is it called in English? I think it's called Brigandine. No, what's it called? It's this type of armor that is, you know, in straps of metal, and there's leather or cloth over it. French is brigandine. I think it's brigandine also in English. I'm not sure. Okay, so the computer went in sleep mode. I didn't ask anything, but there you go. Yes, brigandine. No, scale mail is something else. Scale mail is there isn't cloth over scale mail. But yeah, it's brigandine. It's actually a French word, I think. Comes from brigand, I guess. Brigand is supposed to be a kind of thief. You know, highwayman or thing like that. Doesn't work. Oh shit. Forgot this. Wait a sec. So I'm unable to read your messages. Oh, that really sucks. Shit. Okay, how am I gonna do? Saisir son clavier. Okay. That'll work. D'accord. This computer is special. Any tip for beginner in painting miniature? I want to paint my heroes. How should I do first? Hero Quest minis. Yeah, Hero Quest is so cool, by the way. Well, the miniatures from Hero Quest are red, right? What you could do is prime them with a very light color, like white or maybe gray. If you can find a spray can that's pretty good quality, and or not, for the matter, if you're starting painting, don't bother too much. But maybe, if the character is going to be very black at the end, very dark, you can do a dark base coat, a black base coat. But just first thing, if I have one advice to give for a new painter, because I'm actually a new painter, I've started painting maybe these 6 months ago or something like that. Never ever prime a miniature that is going to have a lot of flesh with black. Okay. Never ever prime a miniature that is mainly going to be yellow or maybe red also with a dark undercoat, because you're gonna have a very hard. Some colors have a very hard time sticking on top of, even if the paint sometimes is a good good brand, but some colors are having a very hard time standing on dark colors. Sometimes for obvious reasons, like the yellow or the pink, for the skin tone. The yellow, my god, these ones, look. This was a fucking mistake. Oops, sorry. This, I'm gonna try to stabilize. This was a fucking mistake. Doing it black, because I can tell you this yellow was a pain in the ass to put. And you can still see through it. It's not finished. So, yeah. In some of my first models, I made the mistake to coat them in black, and the faces I had to put too much paint on it to get rid of the black, but also you're losing detail if you do this. So really, good advice would be to prime your miniature with a light color if you can. I think I would always choose a light color, because dark color will always stand on a light color. So, and mostly in most cases, the dark colors have a far better coverage than the lighter ones. So I would recommend really painting on maybe a light gray, light gray base coat mainly. Yeah, never prime in black. No. I mean, sometimes you can do it. If your miniature is gonna be very metallic, let's say one of the chaos kind of dudes in the Hero Quest. I don't remember how you call them. These dudes with the big armor and stuff. If you want to give the aspect of an old black armor, rusty armor, yeah, you can definitely prime it black. But if the character is gonna be, you see, for this one it wasn't really a problem. I primed it black, but it wasn't really a problem because you've got very little flash coverage, and I'm going to do basically mostly a pretty dark or some very neutral tones. But if you want something with a little more flash, something with a little more yellow or red, look at this shield. It was black underneath, and it was a very bad idea. I shouldn't have painted at all, because these fireforges were dark gray. and I should have painted directly on the miniature. So when they come for the Fireforge, I think if you buy these kind of stuff like Warhammer, Fireforge, you know, those that come actually in I don't know how you call that. Is it sprites? You know, and there are many of them, and you have to cut them and assemble them. You can wash them first if you want with some soap and I don't know, a toothbrush, just to remove. Sometimes they put some you know, fat matter to make sure that the mold doesn't stick, that the miniatures don't stick to the mold, and this can sometimes hinder the paints, or the paint won't stick pretty well. But in most cases, I didn't have to do it. These mostly concern very cheap miniatures, and that weren't properly washed afterwards. But most of the time, they actually wash I think you call them the sprues. So yeah, you could wash them, and I would really, well, yeah, my main advice would be to be careful not to prime with a dark color if you're going for mostly light colors on top of that, because you're gonna end up putting coats and coats and coats of paints, and you're gonna lose all the details that you had originally on your miniature, and that will be very bad. So yeah, that would be my main advice for a very just for starting painting. And then, you know, for painting, just start with midtones. So you do your base coat, then you do your midtones. Here you can see some of them. Yeah, for example, here he's just halfway done, so I just kept the gray that was the miniature, and you paint midtone. As you can see, for example, the coat, it's just a midtone. You do this for all the miniatures you have that are going to be the same color scheme, if you want them to have the same color scheme, just to gain some time. This part is going to be really kind of boring, but you have to do it, and you can do it fast if you do a bunch of them. And then you can start what I'm doing, highlights and shadows. You can do a big wash for shadows, or you can be more precise. For this, for the cape here, obviously I didn't do just a wash. I actually did some, I think you call that wet blending. It's just using the colors, going lighter and lighter from the midtone, and you take some, also you take some shadow. You do some shadowing as well with kind of a wash, but only very localized. You only put the wash where you want the shadow to be. You can see that on the hood. You can see these two shadows that are sticking out. These are actually brushed. It's not a wash. I chose where I put them. But for the rest, like for small recesses, I can tell you here inside I'm probably gonna do a wash. Also, I'm gonna do a darker brown, I think, or another color, because this is actually a brigandine, and this is a gamazon. So I'm not sure actually. I think it's just a gamazon underneath. I think it's just, no, I'm gonna go with the same color scheme. So yeah, you want to build up the highlights. So if you don't have all these paintings like I do have, you can do everything with just white, black, yellow, blue, and red. You can do everything. Just have to mix it. You can even paint your Hero Quest miniatures without miniature paint if you don't have it, or if you don't have the money, or you can paint it with regular acrylics. I would recommend for miniatures, if you want them to look pretty, to actually buy miniature paints, because the pigmentation is finer for these, and this is actually meant for very small items and miniatures. So if you want to have the maximum detail, really, you can buy some of them, but you could just buy, primer colors and mix them. I bought this huge 50 pack, but before that I I painted some miniatures. Some of these were painted. Some of these middle tone were painted before I had this. Most midtones, I just mixed some colors. I had maybe 10 different colors, and I mixed them, and it was alright. So you don't really need to buy a huge bunch of paint to start painting. And build up the highlights. It's the most important because you want the miniature to stand out. And do some washes and enhance also the shadows. What you really want is contrast. That's my main advice. And then it's just experimenting. Yes, a wash is a paint with many water. Yeah, exactly. I like zenithal priming. I don't know what's zenithal priming. It's maybe a brand or something, or a technique. I don't know it. Flesh in white and the rest in black. Yeah, you can do that. Acrylic paint is okay. Acrylic paint is okay. Yes, this is mainly this is acrylic paint. What I'm using right here is acrylic paint. It's just very fine acrylic paint, but non-toxic. Where is it? I'm sure it's acrylic paint. But it's very very finely it's a very fine pigmentation, big pigments. So if you buy a cheap acrylics, it's gonna be a little coarse. The paint isn't gonna be as precise, but if you water it down, you can have it more precise. But then again, you're gonna have to water it down. Very oftenly, you have to water it down a lot more than miniature paint. That is a little more fluid. But you can use it if you water down regular cheap acrylic paint. You can water it down and paint miniature with them with ease. Just in that case, if you do that because you do have a tight budget, I really recommend at least buying, some small, at least for the faces. Buy a few, one or two at least. I don't know, maybe to make a wash, a darker one to make the wash. Paints to make the face, this color of the skin. Because if you use a thick acrylic for the head, you're gonna lose a lot of detail on the face, and this is gonna be bad. But if you work, if you buy, it really depends the type of miniature you have. If it's an old HeroQuest, and these weren't very very detailed, so I guess you can paint with a regular acrylic. But if you buy some more expensive miniature, I would recommend buying actual miniature paints. Just to avoid ruining the miniature that wasn't exactly free, that was sometimes a little expensive and beautifully casted, sculpted. If you want to prevent losing detail, sometimes you need to use the actual miniature painting. Vallejo, yeah, Vallejo is a very good. It's a very good brand, but I chose Army Paint, Army Painter, because this is a wash actually. I chose Army Painter because they weren't too expensive and they had very good reviews. But Vallejo is also a brand, a very well-known brand. I'm using Vallejo for my airbrush thinner because it's one of the most used. To improve the flow of the airbrush, and also use Vallejo. I think I use some Vallejo primer also, but I don't really like it. It can be great, but on some miniatures it actually peeled off, so I'm not always using it, to be totally honest. Did you buy the big pack with 50 cars? Yes, I did. It's right there. Like, am I gonna be able to show you without breaking the whole set? It's here. There you go. Up. There you go. Yes, I did. because I knew I wanted to paint an army. All my figurines, I want to paint all my miniatures in a few months. I want them done because I'm sick of watching them being halfway done for over 5 months. So, yep, I'm gonna paint them. But obviously, I'm gonna try to do some tutorials, but I won't be doing as much tutorials because I have to paint these. It takes time, you know. So I'm gonna try to do some tutorials, but it must remain a pleasure to do tutorials. And if I really want to make these miniatures to be able to play with them with friends, well, I'm gonna give priority to at least painting some of them. And I'm actually here I'm taking some time, but I'm actually advancing pretty well, you know. So what I need now is very dark. I'm gonna remove this magnifier because it's really good, but it hurts the nose, and I don't think I really need it for this. It's when I'll do the faces, I'll definitely use it, but for this, it's not really useful right now. I need to use some dark brown for the recesses. Nice buy it too. Army painting, Roger, that's sure. Yeah, army painting. Well, I haven't seen it last for long because these, miniatures haven't been used yet, and obviously you have to seal them at the end, which I haven't done yet. But I've seen many very good reviews for army painter. So, it wasn't the most expensive. There were good reviews, mostly good reviews. So, and I also liked the variety. Oh shit, the variety. Well, the fact there was a lot of different colors in this this 50 set, 50 bottle set. So I chose this one because the colors were nice looking, the advices were good, and it wasn't too expensive. So I guess I would recommend buying this, since my own research led me to buying this one. But I don't know how the paint will last in time. I guess if it's varnished, if the miniatures are sealed, it should last very well. And I can tell you they are very nice to use. That I can tell you. I'm having a lot of pleasure using them. I am used to I'm not really used to paint miniature, but I'm used to do art stuff, use ink and stuff, and it's really nice to use. The wet blending is really fun. I think I showed you yesterday what I did already on several miniatures, and it was actually very you don't see anything. Yeah, that's a little better. You can give very good effects actually. So see there, it's they are very easy to use. They can mix with water pretty well. You can do some good washes. So they're good. I buy them. What did I pay for it? It wasn't. It was a little bit expensive because there's definitely a lot of them. But I don't even remember. Yeah, I bought it on Amazon to get the delivery. I don't even remember. I don't know. You have to watch on. It wasn't fun. I compared to other paints, and for the quantity of paints, it wasn't that expensive. It wasn't, but it was definitely a little bit expensive. But I think that these kind of paints for miniatures are super expensive, and these aren't that expensive. This is another one. It's model color. It's an older one I had, but these one aren't that expensive for these kind of paints. I found a cheap offer of the 50 bottle pack with comments on it on the video. $18. Yeah, it could have been $18. Don't even remember. I could find it on my account how much I paid, because I bought it some month ago, but I don't actually remember. So but it's definitely a little bit expensive because it's a lot of paint, and normally when you're painting miniatures you use very little paint each time. I mean, definitely never use this kind of paint to paint terrain. That's, I'm stating the obvious here, but this is way too expensive to use on terrain. On terrain, really use cheap acrylics. That's what I do. That's what really you should do. You can use acrylics, cheap acrylics on miniature, but you will lose detail. So don't do it if it's a beautiful miniature. But never use this paint on a craft. You know, I mean, even when I used well, even if when I used the airbrush on terrain now, I don't use this kind of paint. I just take a regular acrylic, I mix in with water to dilute it, I mix it with airbrush thinner, and then I prime it, and it works, you know. Because this, you really have to ration it. Use it only for miniatures. For me, I'm stating the obvious. I mean, these aren't tips, pro tips or anything. Again, I just started painting miniatures, so I'm giving you guys advices if you want advice to start. But really, I'm not an expert in any kind. I'm just stating obvious things that I found out. So I'm gonna do some kind of wash. Well, it's not gonna be a wash per se, but it's not dark enough. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of black, just a small, tiny little bit of black. Gonna mix it with quite a lot of water. I'm gonna almost do a wash, so here, Factoria, you will see what I meant when I said it wasn't really a wash. I did, but nearly is that I'm gonna dilute it quite a lot, but I won't leave too much water on the brush, and I'm still gonna aim for between the sorry, I must concentrate. See, shit, you know what? I need this time. I need a. There you go. Need my magnifiers. Don't put too much water, otherwise it's gonna. Okay. And for inside here, I'm actually going to do a wash actually, so I'm not being precise there. I'm just putting very much of it, but removing kind of the excess still, and because it's gonna be inside. See, I'm putting too much of it now. But I'm sure you can be a lot faster than me to do this once you get experience. I mean, my results are pretty good as for quality wise. I think the miniatures look good, but I still spend too much time doing them, I think. But it's alright. I'll take time to make the prettier ones, the most important ones, the ones that look the coolest. And shit. I'm doing shit. Oh well. I will find a way. Actually, a wash could be... Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do a wash on this one because I fucked up the... I'm gonna enhance the highlights afterwards anyway. I have to. One thing when you're putting a wash is you're gonna have an excess of water, and it's gonna make a sort of in gouttes, a drop. What you can do is use the tip of the brush to make sure the drop doesn't stay on the surface, and that it goes in recesses, and you can actually move the drop to other places where you need the wash, just to prevent some major shading that is going to be set in the same spot, to avoid to have a spot that is really dark and other spots that are shadow free. Sounds like a RPG name. Shadow free. Sounds a little bit like Shadowrun. I don't know what I'm doing for shit. Okay, also I'm very perfectionist, so I still take a lot of time doing stuff. That's just me. Looks a little bit like leather. Nicholas, €2 8 for one bottle is normal. $2 okay, for one bottle is normal. Yeah. €8, yes, $80 for $50. Isn't that well, it is a price, but it's not that expensive concerning the prices at which these paints are usually sold. So there you go. I think I bought the one that was $80. That's gotta be it. And I'm very happy with my purchase. Very happy client. So if you want to buy and make miniatures, you can go buy army paint stuff. But I didn't recommend for how do you say, advertisements, okay? Should get paid for this. Okay, so I'm gonna enhance the highlights. It looks a little bit like leather now, and I wasn't really going for leather, but why the fuck not? At least it enhanced the contrast. You can now see a lot better between the different layers of the gambeson. Looks nice though. What I'm gonna do is use the wash for the back here also, because there's this sort of a roll in his back. So I'm gonna oops. And as you see here, I did a wash without using the actual washes provided by Army Painter. These are good, but you don't really need to have a real wash. You just need to, water it down. It works. It's gonna carry the tones in the recesses and leaving the edges clear. So the paint that is under obviously is gonna stick out, and the edges are gonna be a little brighter, while the recesses are gonna be obviously darker. And when you've got too much of it, what you can do is, take your brush, clear the water or the paint remaining on it on a little towel, and then you just take the excess of paint, because you want the dark paint in the recesses, but you don't want too much of it. Otherwise, it's gonna make a weird effect when it's gonna be drying. You're gonna have some marks that are looking exactly like water has been dripped, and you're gonna have some very not that nice looking tracks, not tracks, imprints of paint. I don't know if I'm very clear, but now I need something a little lighter. So I need the skeleton bone, maybe. Yeah, baby. Let's go for a skeleton bone. And we're gonna mix it with a little bit of this monster. Was it? What was it? Monster brown. Yeah. For the highlights, let's go for this. Da, 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 da. I have the. I don't know if you guys watch Critical Role, but I do. And I've got this D&D Beyond ad in the head. I've had it for like 2 days. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So if you hear me, I think I have to put more water on my wet palette, because yeah, on podcast is good also, because I think you have the podcast because no, you don't. No, I'm saying rubbish. You don't have the podcast before the actual. The only thing is really shit, I'm sorry, I really don't find the words today. The only thing that is really annoying for me is that they make the live on Thursdays, and with a difference of hour difference from Europe. When they're live, it's like really late, I think, or really early. I think it's really late. So I can't watch it even if I actually go to sleep pretty late, and I have to wait the next Tuesday to have the video of the live again, on their channel. It's a week after. Oh, it's wait. Yeah, it's a week after. That's for the podcast. Yeah. But I've listened to the podcast once. But mostly what I do is I put the video. Most times it's the replay, because I can't watch it live. But I don't always watch the visuals. Sometimes I do when there's something super funny or something like that. Then I go watch and I'm gonna see the reactions or stuff like that. But it's nice. It's amazing. They're really fun, and Matt Mercer is so talented. Okay, so I'm speaking, but I'm not painting. Did I use brown, monster brown? Really late on the East Coast or the US as well. Of the US, yeah. Yes, it's listening. And yeah, I think it must be live at 4 o'clock in the middle of the night for me, something like that. So it's a bit late, or maybe it's like 2 or 3 o'clock during the night, and I can't watch it. Oh no, maybe not. I think it's during the. No, I think it's during the day. But in any case, each time I wanted, I never managed to see it. Either I'm sleeping, or I'm at work. I think I'm at work when it happens, and that's a bummer. But you know, I wait for 1 week and then I hear it. It's nice. I don't know if you guys watch Critical Role, if all of you watch them, but it's pretty fun. Sam Riegel is so talented. Also. I think he's my favorite member on the team. By far. But they're all good. The show is great. They are really cool. Very nice stuff. Critical Role. The Mighty Nine. Yes, it must be starting actually very 10 p.m. Yes, so 10 p.m. 10 p.m. It's in the morning, right? Yeah, p.m. is in the morning. So I can't see it because I'm at work. I'm working, so I can't see it, and that sucks. But that's it's okay. It's just that I know it's there was the live, and I know I will only be able to see the replay 1 week later, and that drives me crazy. But because you obviously you want to know what happens to the characters. These characters are they're good at making them very likable. They're good at it. Oh, okay. On the East Coast. Yeah, okay, but I'm across the ocean. Where you're living in you're Nicholas. Where are you right now? You're on the East Coast, right? Okay. This is gonna be hard doing the Brigandine inside. This isn't gonna be easy. I think it will look rubbish, but I'm not sure we'll ever be able to really see inside. So maybe I don't give a shit. Sometimes you have to accept being a little bit sloppy for some stuff. If it's never gonna be visible, why care? I'm a bit perfectionist, so I'm still gonna try to do it, but is it really, really necessary? I don't think so. But I'm still doing it, because I'm stupid. But it's alright. East Coast USA, yep. Okay. I'm going in the States this at the end of August. I'm gonna see a friend living in Seattle. It's the first time I'm gonna go to the States. And I'm so excited. Because I've traveled, not that much, but I've traveled. I've gone to several countries, and I've gone to several countries in Europe. I've gone to Egypt. I've gone to Iceland, but I never went to the States. So this will be the first time. This is cool. Okay. Pretty Gambazon. I'm gonna go with a very... If I do this, it will really have a leathery look, but... Up. This computer. My god. I'm gonna try to do something that is probably a big mistake. Critical. Yeah. Yeah, obviously you have to understand pretty well English. But you seem to understand English pretty well. In any case, you have many other groups that are playing RPG online. Just these are very good because they're used to it, and they are used to make voices because they're voice actors. So it's fun. Obviously, as the French usually say. It is good voice actors. Very fun to watch. Shouldn't make fun of my own Frenchman accents. Outrageous accent. I'm gonna put some small highlights just to make this pop. Yeah. And this will be the coup de grâce. Then I think I'm gonna do a pause. I don't know if I end the stream or not. How many are we? We're only 5 of us. Well, it's alright. It's cool. I'm painting miniatures. You guys are, I don't know, crafting, I guess? What are you doing, actually? How popular are role-playing games in France? They're getting pretty popular, I think. They've always been present, and, definitely less than in the States, because obviously, Dungeons and Dragons, most big systems are actually American. So you definitely have the biggest community of players, but it's fairly I think it's growing. It's definitely growing because we have a few YouTubers that kind of geeky YouTubers that made videos and stuff like that are pretty famous. Between the young adults in France, and these guys started several of these groups started role playing on Roll20 playing some games, some RPGs of their creation. So mostly it's sometimes on systems that already exist. Sometimes they made up their own world and used some game mechanics and made a homebrew stuff. And basically, yeah, playing and role playing on Roll20, and sometimes with quite a little how do you say auditoire, spectators. There's quite a lot of people following them, but I think it's nothing like in the States. The States are still number one for D&D and RPG games in general. But I think it's getting more popular in France. It has existed for a very long time. Huh? I mean, you can find several Warhammer shops in Paris, for example, and even more shops selling other board games. But I think it's getting more and more popular with time, and mostly because of these YouTubers. I can think of one group in particular called Le Joueur du Grenier. This Joueur du Grenier, it's a dude that I think I'm back. There was a little bug. There you go. Here I am. But we're down to 3 people, I think. This is a little chat. But I have Nicholas, you're coming from it's like 3 or 4 in the morning in France, East Coast. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 3 or 4. So Nicholas, are you still here? It must be like really late for you right now, no? Yes. How late is it? So yeah, role-playing games are pretty. I think they're getting. But it's hard to have a very a good general idea. I mean, it's very popular. D&D and role-playing games are very popular in the States, but the United States are huge, so you don't meet just in everyday life someone that's playing role-playing game just in the street like that, or you definitely. I think I don't only guess, but you gotta to find these people. You have to go someplace to go to conventions, to stores, or online on forums or stuff like that. You just can. It's not. It's basically the same in France. You you have to go find it. I'm playing with friends that are really not from the gaming. Let's say they're not used to play. They are really creative and very interested and involved and curious, and they like fiction, works of fiction, and so they are very good. They are good for role playing when they're not totally drunk, of course, but I can't blame them because I'm basically the same. And but they're not used to playing RPGs. They basically started with me, but it's cool. They're my my best mates, so we're having a good time when we have time to play a game, of course. San Antonio, Texas. It's 9 in the morning. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're, okay. Oh, I thought it was even more during the night. No, right now on the East Coast, it's morning. Okay. Good stream, but I have to go. Have fun, bye. See you, Stefan. Thanks for popping by. See you later. Take care. Take good care. I'm probably gonna end the stream in not that long. Okay. So these are all reasonable hours, except for you, Blue. It's very it's kind of early. Are you like eating your breakfast? Well, it's not that early. When I go to work, I actually rise up at 6 a.m. But you know, it's still in the morning. It's so funny to see different times you guys are living in. You don't really have this in mind when you know you live your everyday life. You do when you're gonna travel, you know, to buy some tickets and to make the trip and stuff like that, and you know of the difference of hours in the world, but you never really think of it. And with all of you coming from different places, it's really funny to just imagine the time being different there. Finish feeding. So how was your feeding entertainment? I don't think so. I am not really that entertaining. I just thought, you know, as I was gonna paint miniatures, and I'm definitely not doing any tutorial in the meantime, so might as well, you know, just make a live stream and see if you guys were there and, you know, hang out. But I'm not that entertaining. So, I think this is good, right? Yeah. Maybe just a little. French toast, yeah. French toast. It's funny that it's called French toast, because you always find everything. These kind of, you know, expressions are so funny because they change from country to country. Because in France, we don't really eat French toast at the. Yeah, we can, but I'm not sure it's. You know, it's not the same type of bread usually that is eaten in the petit déjeuner, the breakfast. It's these. Hi, Mike. It's like those expressions. It's so funny. Like there's an expression in English with a French that's, you know, always run away. It's like what is this expression? Is there someone from England in the chat? There's an expression like this. It's like, you know, running like a Frenchman or something like that. It's not this, but it's the equivalent. And in French, we've got exactly the same thing with an Englishman. It's a filer à l'anglaise, like to just run off like English style. And you've got many of them for French and English, because obviously France and England have a long past of rivalry and you know, rivalry. You know, either a positive rivalry or actual war rivalries. But you've got so many expressions like this that goes either way, and there are many of them. There are like actually I knew like 3 or 4 of them, but actually 3 or 4 of them that are literally the opposites. Like for the French, you're talking about the English, and for the English, you're talking about the French. I wish I could find those to tell you. Because they're actually pretty funny. So there's that. I don't know how you say it in English, but in French there's the equivalent, filet anglaise. And why did I say that? Yeah, for the toast, French toast, yeah. Same thing with French fries. I mean, I'm really not sure that the French, what you call French fries, were invented in France. Where does it come from? Because in France we mostly eat potatoes, but it's not really, you know, French fries aren't really cultural thing. I think it was brought by Americans. I'm not sure, but you know, no Texas toast in France. Oh yeah, you can find some, you know, that type of bread and stuff like that. But what is actually French toast? It's just French toast is like you put some like it's the bread that is squared and you make it toast and you put it like you put marmalade on it or stuff like that. Because maybe I didn't get exactly what French toast meant for you. Is it like a very specific thing or is it just one type of breakfast using a type of bread and toasted and whatever's on it? Okay, so I think for this is good. Actually, pretty shit right now. Yeah, it works now. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a micro pause. I'm not gonna cut the live stream, cause I'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes max, I think. But I'm not gonna cut it, cause if I cut it, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to post it again without making another vid. So I'm just gonna basically make a small pause of 5 to 10 minutes, but I'll be back. Just in case, thing booked 8 whites, I think. Yep. Okay. Bread booked in 8 whites. Right. The chat is like completely going ape shit right now. Okay, I know what I have to do. Oops. Works now. So tell me if you want to end the live stream now, because we're obviously just 5 of us, so we can basically decide. If you guys have to go do something else, I just cut the stream. If you want just to hang out, maybe half an hour more afterwards, tell me, and I'll leave it. Just I'm gonna make a very small break. Tell me what you want. I'm just crafting. If you come back, I will be here. I'm crafting, waiting for my paint to dry. Okay. Well then. I want to make the... I have the computer next to me that is not working very well. And I want to make it work because I want to see your messages somewhere else than on my smartphone. That is actually hanging way up. But I'm gonna make a small break and I'm gonna come back in 5 to 10 minutes max. See you in a while. And I'm gonna make a safe for tea. Some tea. I'm back, guys. Made a little tea. And I think I'm gonna start doing the shield. Could be doing the other details, but I think I'm gonna do the shield. At least the coating. And it's gonna be, you're gonna see what I told you about the colors, because I think I want to do it dark red. And you're gonna see what I meant by avoid doing dark undertone when you want vivid colors. You're gonna see I'm gonna have a hard time, I think, painting with the red on top of the black. Wait a sec. So so what did I miss? What did I shit? Oh, come on. Let's see. What did I miss? Yeah, this computer is really having a hard time connecting to the live stream. Come on, wake up. Come on. There you go. There you go. Where's the chats? So, up. The T is gonna go right there. I'm gonna avoid putting it on the miniatures. There you go. This goes there. Up. Can't see the chat anymore. The page has been bugging, so I'm trying to refresh it. Is it gonna work? Because I'm basically using an old computer, a small netbook that was that is my the old netbook of my girlfriend, but it's not very good with Wi-Fi. Because I want to see your the chat on. I've set it on the right of the crafting space. Okay, so I can't see your messages for now, but hopefully in a few minutes I'll be able to see it again. I hope. Anyway, I'm gonna paint this shield with red. It's not gonna be very, very light red in any case. So, but I think it's good. It's gonna stand out on the cloak. First, I thought I was gonna do it, in brown, like leathery brown, but there's already a lot of brown going on here with the gumbiza and all the leather parts. So I'm actually gonna go for something a bit more, a bit more interesting. I'm gonna go with red. But which red am I gonna take? It's gonna be like red and probably with like very slight orange lights on it. So I'm not gonna take the glistering blood because it's an effect stuff. So there's red dragon, pure red. I'm probably gonna start with dragon red, and then I will get lighter. Still can't see your the chat. This is kind of a bummer. Ah, there, finally. Okay, so I'm gonna open it in a new window. There you go. So, did you guys ask me some questions or not? Oh my god, this is so slow. God. Okay, I'm gonna start painting. So obviously when you're using that kind of paint, don't forget to shake it, especially if it's the first time you use it. The red ones, it's the first time I use them, since I bought the 50 paint set. So I'm gonna shake it properly, just to make sure I have an even paint. There you go. I have to wet my my wet palette a little more because it's been open for long times. Even if I close it regularly when I'm finished. Okay, should have taken a little more paint, I think. It doesn't work for shit. This chat is driving me crazy. I can't manage to see it. Come on. Please. Okay. So I'm gonna go with red. Let's see. See what I mean? It's not gonna cover very well. I have to do one or two, at least one or two coats. But you better do the best thing in that case is to do several coats, thin coats, but several of them instead of one big coat that isn't gonna hold on very well. And in red it's gonna be really good, I think. It's a good choice. Okay, now I see the chat. So okay, nothing's new. Okay, let's paint. See, when you have a very dark base coat, the color is having light colors, red, and it's not the worst. The worst is obviously yellow. Is having a hard time standing on the black paints. For I don't know which reason, but the blue really sticks well on black. I mean, it covers pretty good blue color. I don't know why. But the red and especially the yellow, my god. So that's why you want to avoid doing a very dark base coat. Here it's not really an issue because I want this shield to be, it's not going to be super bright. And also it's a flat surface, so it's not a big issue if I have to put several coats, thin coats, to get the right color. But this can be very problematic on, you know, faces for the character, because you don't want to lose details. Otherwise you won't have the features of the face, obviously. But for you should be printed white or gray. So if you want more powerful red, yes, obviously. If you want a very vivid color, you don't have a. It's preferable to have a light color underneath. Yes, obviously, Because, you know, you can always paint darker color on a white surface if the surface holds paint well. It's gonna work, and you can always, you know, do some washes, dark washes afterwards to get black paint in recesses. Really, the only circumstances where I would give advice to do a dark base coat would be if your miniature at the end will be mostly dark. If it's a dark miniature, like, I don't know, this one here, for this one I made, I want it to be, at the end it's going to be pretty dark. It's not a big issue if I did a dark undercoat, base coat, even if there's the face and the hand, because mostly I wanted to be sure I wouldn't have any whites anywhere. But then again, if you do a very nice mid-tone and you make sure to go in every recess, doesn't really matter if the color underneath, if the base coat is white or light gray or black, everything's gonna end up being covered, you know. If you want a light miniature, for example this one, the girl, I think I actually base coated it in black first, which was completely stupid since it's so light, since the character is so lightly colored. But I don't remember, maybe I didn't, it was a long time ago. Well, it was like maybe 6 months ago, maybe more. Yeah, for this one, see all these characters, this character also, see it was base coated in black. I only did the face, and I had to pass several times to get about the right skin tone. So it's pretty stupid, but depends what you want to do, you know. I like to dilute my paints with water so they are very thin and do many coats. Yes, it's exactly what you have to do. It's what I'm doing here. I don't dilute it that much on the shield because I'm not afraid of losing any details. But the best idea is to do several coats, thin coats. But you might end up doing a lot of them if you have a dark base coat under it. Especially if you're trying to put it yellow, so never put some black primer before doing something that's majorly being yellow. I mean, look at these shields. I showed them before, I think you were there, all of you. But look, I've done probably three coats of yellow at least there, or more, probably more, and you can still see the black underneath. You see? So, big mistake, rookie mistake. Don't do it. Anyway, this shield at the end is gonna look a little battered. I'm gonna make it look as if it was, you know, used in combat already. So even if I don't water down too much the paint, the risk is if you don't water down the paint too much, is that you're gonna end up with some minor brush strokes that are gonna be, you know, when the paint is gonna dry, you're gonna see the strokes. But in any case, this shield is gonna look battered and, you know, torn some places as if there was some impacts of blades. So I don't really care. But yes, of course, if you want a very flat surface, very even surface, you better do some very thin coats and do several of them. They will dry pretty fast if they're thin enough, so you can very easily again, you know, pass on it. Paint a brown spray, I can apply individual base coats to major parts. Using whatever color makes sense. I use a yellowish base on the face and whatever color. Yeah, could work. I mean, yeah, if it works for you. I know that since I did the big mistake of you know, priming many of the miniatures I bought like maybe 6 months ago or a little under 1 year ago in black, now all the ones I paint directly on the base color of the miniature that is often gray, as you can see here on the side. So I paint directly on gray most of the time, and I find it better because when you paint on a very light base coat, you can either go darker if you want, but it's gonna be easier for you to obtain vivid colors if you want to. But you know, there's no real there's many techniques you can use. Just avoid doing this stupid mistake of putting black everywhere. I really did that by reflex, because when I was a teenager, I primed all my my Warhammer figurines with black, so I just did mechanically. I did the same thing with most of my miniatures when I bought them, because again, I'm not very experienced, so I first I did what I thought was best, and it really wasn't. I should have watched more tutorials about painting before priming them, but I was watching already. I was mainly watching tutorials for terrain back then, and I wasn't really focusing on miniature painting because I was still doing my terrain. See, that red is good for main tone, and I'm gonna go darker underneath and lighter on the top, a little bit like I did on the cloak. I did that on, let me show you, on the Crusader I made for my friend, one of my friends playing the RPG. If you can see, look, the tone under the shield is a little bit yeah, it didn't exist, right? And see, the red tone is a little bit darker at the bottom of the shield and a bit lighter obviously at the top, and it reinforces the idea of volume. Yeah, exactly like what I showed you on the other miniatures, like this one for example. You can see the hips are really standing out because I've put some lighter color. So yeah, trying to mimic actual light is the best way to enhance the volumes of your miniatures. Actually, I really like this one. I didn't really like the sculpt that much. I mean, it's pretty caricatural. The girl, she's good, you know, but the paint really gives her a volume. She's very voluptuous, you know, with big curves and stuff, and the paint really reinforces that and gives more weight, more volume to the character. She looks a bit more chubby. Yeah, I'm happy with the result. I'm really happy with the results of this one, actually. And I did that by wet blending. I did a main coat. Then I did I did the highlights going up and up with a very thin coat diluted with water to make sure the blending is perfect with the midtone, and then very light blue. And also did some light colors at the bottom, because if you see the dress is actually going down, so you've got the hips that are gonna the bottom that are gonna catch the lights, but also there's a slight, you see the dress is doing a slight standing out at the back, so this is gonna catch the color also. See, so it's a little lighter at the bottom too, and of course on top of the arms. And yeah, I've done it for several. So for this dude, I did it on the belly, on the top. It's very slight, but you can see it's lighter on the bottom of the belly. And but I already showed them yesterday. I had so much fun with the beer mugs. You have this in miniature. Yeah, it's the Tone Folks from Reaper, I think. Yeah. Had so much fun with the beer mugs. Yeah, they're not done yet. I have to do the moss that is gonna be obviously very very light. I think I'm gonna go for a pure white main tone, and then I'm gonna do a small wash of very light brown, yellowish brown for the the moss of the beer jugs. This is Passion Man. Yes, solo light on bottom. Yeah, it's so much fun, right? Right, and the other miniatures, yeah, well, the other mainly are not finished. The only ones I've really finished is this one, and I think I'm also going to change a little bit of the sword, because I don't really like the lighter effect I did on it. I found another technique that is gonna make it pop out a little more. And then obviously I have this, where's the crossbow man? This one, used by another of my players. He's a mercenary. And I've done a nice little base too, some flocking. Very simple mercenary. And the last one is supposed to be a monk. Where is it? I think it's there. Yeah. There, here you have the monk. And the monk is pretty cool too. I've just removed the crucifix, the cross he was carrying, and put a pilgrim staff instead. So he's the traveling monk. Bunch of 3 guys on an adventure. So this gave me a little time for the paint to dry, so I'm gonna do a very thin coat again. Very diluted this time. I don't know if I put a symbol, a sigil or something on the shield. It could be cool, but I want this to be kind of a generic adventurer. If I put a sigil, it's gonna give the impression he's a noble. So I'm not totally sure I'm gonna do a sigil, but I'm definitely gonna do some highlights. I'm maybe going to do a borderline, like leather border, I'm not sure. And I'm definitely gonna do some scratches. And I could show you how to do the scratches, because it's a trompe-l'œil effect. It's we're gonna give the impression there is a volume scratches, and we're only going to use the paint to do that. But we could score, actually, we could score the miniature to do this. We could score it with an X-Acto knife or something like that. I'm still haven't decided. I should probably do it before, if I want to score before painting. Should I score it? I wonder if I should score it. I don't know. So as you've seen there, I've done mainly I have very human-like creatures. I mean characters. I've also got mounted characters. This one is so cool. Have to paint it. He's gonna be important in the. He's already appeared in the campaign. One of the main characters of the first campaign we're doing. And but I've also got some monsters. I've got many monsters, just I'm not using them right now, so I'm obviously not painting them, but I've got maybe 200 miniatures or more, and I've got many monsters, more fantasy monsters. I know I definitely want to paint, I've got some, what's their name, Ankeg. I've bought many Reapers, because they weren't that expensive, and I've got like, I think I've got 3 Ankegs, and I think these look so cool. I want to make maybe 2 of them with a brown appearance, with dark shades, a bit like a kittenous appearance, because it's an insect. And I think the last one, I'm gonna paint it very like a bug, these kind of bugs that are shiny, like with green, blue, yellow reflections. I found a tutorial on YouTube showing how to do these kind of effects on insects. You know, like some some coleoptera. How we call that? It's these kind of bugs, you know, that have a very shiny. I don't know how you call this in English. So I've got many. I've done many. I have many miniatures, including monsters. I just haven't painted them yet, and I'm quite eager to paint them. It's also the reason why I want to finish all these humans very fast, because I want to get to the monsters. Because the monsters are going to be so much funnier to so much nicer to paint. Okay, I think the base coat of the shield is done. I'm gonna go around, however, because I still haven't decided if I want to do a leather exterior. And maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Okay, I have to be very careful. I don't want to put some red on that cloak. I really don't. Well, you're right. Paper minis are awesome. They're awesome. You're totally right to use paper minis. It's gonna be cheaper. I mean, you won't have the 3D effects. You can't have everything, but you're right. Paper minis are great. You know, I have paper minis. Where are they? Because I couldn't buy everything I wanted to play with. So I have shit. I think they are hidden. Are they there? Shit. I have animals. What I'm. Wait a sec. You made your own paper minis. That's cool. Yeah, paper minis are really good. You're right to use them. It's just another choice, you know. And I've done some of them. I want to show you what I did, but I don't remember where they are. Shit. I want to show you. I've done some of them. Yeah, they're funny to make. I mainly used. I didn't draw them. I could have, but I wanted a very realistic look. So what I did was print some animals. I used them mainly for animals because I couldn't buy. Well, I could, but they were very expensive. You see, for cattle or wolves, things like that. I have some wolf miniature, but they're really like zombie wolves, wargs type of wolves. But I wanted to have many, you know, cattle. Many other miniatures that I could use, but I wasn't gonna, you know, pay a huge amount of money to buy actual miniatures, and I didn't want to paint them as well. So I basically did some paper minis. But I don't know where they are. Wait a second. Maybe I'll find them. Where? They should be maybe here. Maybe, just maybe. So I've got a huge amount of boxes with stuff. I could even show you some stuff I never showed on the on the episodes, because I've done some stuff I didn't show. If you want, I like to show the miniatures. I like to show the paper minis since we're talking about it. But I don't know where they are, but they're cool. Wait a second. Let's see if I find them. Yeah, you've got this one, but I've done many others. I've done many others. I'd like to find them to show them to you. So it's just no, it's okay. Don't worry. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna start painting again, but see, and really easy. This one was not the nicest one. That's why I found it, and I don't find all the others that are actually good. But what I did was, see, I used some very thin cardboard to make a base, and what I did was I took what was it, like a plastic something that came from food or stuff like that, and I used an iron, to iron the cloth and to make it flat. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I only used a hair dryer, and it's kind of nice because you can stick different miniature. I've done many of them, these kind of bases, small one, big ones, and stuff like that, and it works. You have your bear, and I've done many of them, many different, like dogs, wolves, and stuff like that. Yeah, clip on mini, yeah. But I can show you at least the bases because they are here. But I don't know where are all the animals. There are somewhere else. See, I've done many of them. Big ones, small ones. Of course, I have to still put some flocking on this, but I have some of them. See? There you go. And this was a flame. I think I based this on the DM Scotty tutorial, I think it was. But I'm not sure. But I've got so many boxes of stuff that I really don't know where everything is. Could show you some stuff, but really I should paint instead of that. So I'm kind of procrastinating right now. So I'm gonna paint. I'll show you some stuff another day. Painting minis are, paper minis are very nice. I think you mustn't lose the. You always must bear in mind that the most important is playing. If you want to have beautiful scenery and nice 3D characters because you like it, it's good. Do it. Take pleasure in painting them. Take pleasure in building stuff. But what you really need to play game, most times you don't really need an actual visual support, visual aid, though it can be useful. But paper minis are great. The most important is to play. So the paper minis you do, you actually draw them yourself, or you find images? Because the best is obviously to do your own art style, but see me, I just found images because I didn't have time to draw them. Though I like to draw, but just I did it to gain some time, to save some time. Both money and time. But you know what? I'll find them. They're somewhere. I'll show you next time we're on live. Okay, so it's pretty much red now. You made the morning, Shupa. So you made your illustrations. Like it's not good at all, but it's great if you do your illustrations. Man, I would really like to see them. Did you already post them on the Tabletop Crafting Guild? Make some terrains my game. So if you ever post them, you know, tell me. I usually I stay in tune, so I watch the tabletop crafting community, but it's you can always miss something, you know, because I'd like to see them, especially if you're the one who made the art. You're in dude, and wait, I'm not even sure I'm actually subscribing. I'm not even sure I'm subscribed to your channel. I didn't even know you had a channel, I think. Wait, you know what? I'm gonna do this on the other computer because this one is driving me crazy. Wait a second. I'm gonna check something. I'm not sure I'm subscribed to your channel. Dude, I subscribed to your channel. I wasn't even subscribed. So I did. It looks really cool. I also like it. You made some stop motion. I really like stop motion as well. I'm definitely gonna watch your content, man. I wasn't subscribed. I'm not sure why I wasn't subscribed. Maybe I don't think I even know you had a channel. So now I'm subscribed. I'm gonna watch what you do, man. And I like your art style. Really wacky. I like it. You know, like funny characters and stuff. That's nice. It looks good. I just watched one miniature and looked at a video very fast with the barbarian. You know, the animation. That's neat, man. That's cool. Rock on. Oh, that's not embarrassing. Looks really cool. You know, I like to draw. I could give you my I've got a blog with some drawings and some comics. I can give you the link if you want. If you want to have a look at what I do. But the blog isn't updated for a long time, but I could give it to you if you want to have a look. Okay, you know what I should do now is actually starting to do the highlights on that shield and stop playing with the main coats. I'm sure this miniature will look really good at the end, but man, am I taking some time doing it. So I'm gonna start doing slightly lighter color, I guess. Yep. Give you the link. I'm gonna do this on the other computer because this one will never handle it. Oops. Well, you know, we're not very. We're like 6 on the live stream, so I don't think anyone is bothered. Anyway, I'm just, you know, I'm not advancing very fast. So, okay, so I'm still going through. So you can see on the blog, it's mostly in French, right? The last boss are mostly crafting related. But if you go back, you can see drawings and stuff like that. Even other small RPG or tabletop projects I was doing. There's also a section with comics that I have translated in English. At least one of them. So, but it's not finished. It's an unfinished project, but you can have a look if you want. Shit, I didn't take the right one. That was dumb. Pure red, that's what I want. Quality, not quantity. Shupa. Yes, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Quality, no, not quantity. I don't follow I don't know what you're responding to, but yeah, you're definitely right. I'm perfectionist, so. Let's see. So I'm gonna put on some lighter red, and I'm basically gonna put it in the middle of the shield, I think, to emphasize the curve. See, I'm gonna do exactly what I did on the cloak. So on the cloak, to emphasize the volumes, what I did was put the lighter colors on the middle of the let's say the curve each time, and the darker the farther you get inside, the darker I got. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the shield. There's gonna be a very light kind of line. It won't be a line, but the center of the shield is gonna be lighter, and when you go to the side, it's gonna get darker. This is gonna emphasize the curve of the shield. Now what I have to do is do it properly for it to look nice and not weird looking, you know. And I'm gonna dilute a lot the paint to achieve that effect. Yeah, your animations are good, man. I'm gonna watch them later when I finish painting. I'm definitely gonna watch it. And I really like I just saw it for like 2 seconds, a few of your drawings, you know, in the miniatures and stuff. And I can already tell I like it. So yeah, if you like to draw, definitely do it. Do paper minis, because it's a universe that has you know, character. It has his own feel and style. a bit, you know, cartoony style. You have to love it. And then I'm gonna take even, you know, an orange. I think this kind of dry rust. And this, I'm gonna really mix it, but I'm gonna use it to do the highlights. Yeah. For fun and for my daughters, yeah. Drawing must remain a pleasure. Yeah. See, I'm doing a line at the middle. I don't see if you see it properly. And I'm gonna blur it. And mix it with the other red to have a but I'm overdoing it a little bit. Mustn't overdo it. And with the black base coat, it's actually a little bit a pain in the ass. So, because the black base coat is actually sticking out, so you see, definitely avoid doing this. You're gonna go with light colors, especially if you're gonna dilute the paint on top of it pretty much. This is gonna be harder than I thought because of the black undercoat. And it's a little bit disappointing. Yeah, that's nice, Moebius style. I don't have the genius that Moebius had, but thanks. Well, you'll find a lot of you will find a lot of boobs on my blog. You must be warned. A lot of pin-ups and stuff like that. Also, so if you're not fond of nudity, it's maybe not a good idea. But I like yeah, cartoon comic style drawing. The comics you will find, the pages you will find, they're very inspired. Shit, wrong color. They're really inspired by both Mike Mignola and a little bit Frank Miller for the graphic appearance. Not much for the themes. The theme is actually more oriented like Hellboy. I'm a huge Hellboy fan. Major fan here. I'm concentrating, not talking, because I want to really achieve what I want to achieve. And it's a bit tricky. See, I'm mixing in the colors to make an actual gradient. I hope it will work the way I want it to work. but hopefully in a few minutes you will be able to see what I meant when I talked about the gradient going from the side with the middle strap being lighter, and hopefully it will look nice. It's gonna be very slight. It's not very. It's gonna be. It should be very slight gradient, but it should work. But you see, there's still this fucking black undercoat. I don't see if you see it, but I see it through. It's coming through the lighter part at the middle. Maybe you don't see it. I see it, and it's a real pain in the ass. Because I want the center to be more like orange, because it's shining. So I see it. It's that's not good. I wouldn't be in such a... It wouldn't be so difficult if I didn't do the black undercoat, you see. Still learning, huh? Still learning. Charlotte? Maybe I should let it dry a little bit before continuing. I should let it dry just a little bit, just a few minutes. I'm gonna let it dry for a few minutes. It'll work better, I think, if it's dry, because I won't be able to get a nice coverage if I don't make several layers. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna right back. So, what's in the chat? Yeah, Hellboy is cool. Yep. So, is it dry? Almost. Nah, I've put on too much paint. Should have done a thinner coat, but it's alright because it's a shield, so doesn't have to be completely flat. You know, should work. I don't know if you see what I'm doing. Okay, see you, Nicholas. Thanks for dropping by. Keep it up. Keep on crafting. See you later. Take care. Oh, that will work better. Okay. There you go. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. However, it will look very good at the end. It's starting to look good. By the end, it will look very good. Well, very good. It will look good. I've got no. I'm not afraid of the outcome, but it would have been a lot easier if I didn't do this. Dark base coats. That is for sure. Oh shit, what's that? I thought I heard my girlfriend come back. But apparently she didn't. Okay, it already looks pretty good. Coming out well. Coming out pretty well. I'm not sure the camera records these kind of effects pretty well. But this black base coat is really starting to piss me off. I'm actually having to put more paint on top because of that. And it's really not the right way to go, but I don't see any other alternative, really. I'll probably have to wait longer to put the last orange dabs to get rid of Look. Are you going to see it? I'm not gonna see it. Maybe if I... No, that's not better. Ah, shit. See, it's gonna be slightly lighter on the middle, but I'm putting too much paint. I really have to wait. I have to wait. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna do the boots. I think I want to stop in very little time. We're 6 on the live stream. Who's there? Say hi. And tell me what you're doing, what you're crafting. Gonna do the boots. The boots of speed. Boots of haste. Okay, you two, I know you're there. We've got 3 other silent watchers. Come on, guys. We're not that numerous. These boots are made for walking. I want to put a color on the trousers, the pants, but I don't know which color to put there. Do you have any idea? I won't put green, I won't put brown. I could put some kind of red, just to remind the red of that is on the other side. I could, but it would be a darker red. Yes, it will be red. Then again, red is very... or blue. No, I'm gonna go for red, I think. Tiny lightning bolts. Ah, you're doing tiny lightning bolts. Hello, Nathaniel. Tiny lightning bolts. For what? Like for to add it on no, on the boots. Tiny lightning bolts. Yeah, I could if it was like super high fantasy. But as I said, I'm going for a more low fantasy miniatures. So I'm gonna go with something very realistic and boring looking, but I'm really eager to paint off these monsters I still have to paint. Yeah, you could paint some lightning on boots, like a Flash style. But I really mustn't fuck up what I'm doing. Actually, it's not a it's a very bad idea to do to forget some midtones of some places of the miniatures and trying to put them after doing the highlights and the shadows. That definitely take time, because if you fuck it up, well, you're gonna lose the work you did. So I'm gonna put my magnifiers to see what I do, because I definitely don't want to leave the trousers black, but also I don't want to end up with some red. What I want dirty, I mean the soldiers what sand or dust. Yes, I thought doing it first. The problem is I'm gonna have a lot of brown going on here, because the gambizon is brownish. The boots are gonna be more leathery, but it's gonna be brown. Just the contrasts are gonna be higher. I think the belts are gonna be another brown, maybe a darker brown or maybe a reddish brown, maybe like the boots. but it's gonna be very brown, you know. So I thought I might, you know, the pants aren't very visible. They're not taking a lot of space, but it could break this whole brown appearance just with a slight touch of color. I think it could be nice. I think it could be nice, you know. And I'm definitely gonna give it a very dark and weather aspect, but I think if it's just another shade of brown, it's gonna be a bit boring. He's gonna be really too brown. So I'm gonna go with red. But you know, I might not do as much coatings as I did for the shield. It could remain. This was a huge mistake. Starting the highlights before actually finishing the midtones. This was such a stupid idea. I can be stupid at times. There you go. Ugh. Obviously, if you want to be precise when you're painting something, you have to get stability, so it must be stable. You mustn't be holding it if you want to be very precise. And good thing could be to use your pinky or, you know, the lower part of your hand to hold your hand. You'll have a firmer hand and you'll be more precise. But the best idea is really to do this kind of shit before doing all the highlights. But since I'm pretty stupid, I obviously decided that I would do the pants afterwards, because I didn't know which colors I was gonna use. So I decided, yeah, I'm gonna choose later. And of course I forgot. And then I did the highlights. And now I'm in deep shit. Yeah. Okay. I managed not to put any red on the gum design. Oh, hello Amanda. Welcome to the chat. I'm just painting some miniatures. Failing at painting some pants. Well, failing. Having a hard time. Because I'm doing that half after doing the highlights on the gambizon of the character. So this is pretty stupid, but if I manage to be precise, it won't be too much of a problem. Yeah, I think red will be good. Look, it looks pretty. I think it looks pretty nice. It's not finished, of course, but with just a slight touch of red, you know, gives it a little more life. It's a bit less. It's less brownish. So. And yes, I really do like this miniature. I think the sculpt is amazing. Very dynamic. Very good looking. computer went to sleep mode. Okay, so I managed to paint this trouser without putting any red. What brand of miniature are? Oh yes, tons of them. And I must have maybe. Oh shit! Come on. I must have maybe like. Wait a second. Maybe like 5 or 6 different furnitures. This one is Reaper, I think. This one is Reaper. Reaper is good. They do both plastic and metal. This one is metal miniatures. The plastic ones are really cheap, like the Reaper bones are pretty cheap and they're great. The level of detail is of course not as good as on metal miniatures or on other brands, but the bones, Reaper bones are very good. If you do a good job painting, they'll be very cheap and you have a nice 3D miniatures. Like the Ankeg I showed you before. It's Reaper bones. So Reaper is a very good brand. You also have Fireforge. All my warriors you can see there. The dude I was painting before, the archer. Where is it? Where did I put it? Anyway, you have other ones. These ones. These are Fireforge. So they're actually a little smaller, but it's alright. The scale is not too far off. They just look like small dudes. Smaller dudes. These are cheaper. They're not very expensive because they're for wargaming. It's meant for armies. So Fireforge. You have but you can only buy them by bunch. You can't buy them individually, I think. Then I've got all my farmers are Fenrir miniatures, which is a French group, I think. They are very nicely sculpted, but very fragile because the plastic is very brittle. So they're very nicely sculpted, and they got very good postures and attitudes. They look very lifelike, but they're very fragile. You've got also, I've got some V&V miniatures, but I don't think I have any here. Here mostly you have Fireforge for the warriors, you have Reaper for the townsfolks, and you have Fenrir for the farmers. Here, all the miniatures I have here. But you have a lot more miniatures campaigns. You have some of them are amazing. What did I found? I found one. What was the name of this company that does amazing sculpts, but they're like super expensive because they're basically like all done by hand and customized and stuff. What's the name of this stuff? I don't remember. But I didn't buy any because they were like 20 30 bucks for one miniature, like one small miniature. That was way too much for me, way too much. But if you're looking for cheap nice miniatures, look at the Reapers. And if you want pre-painted, you've also got Wizards of the Coast are doing, you know, like boxes and stuff. They look alright. They can be good if you want to paint again on them. You have a nice base if you do like some dry brushing. They're not super expensive, I think, but I never bought them. Never really researched for them, so I'm probably not the best one to give advice. Most of my miniatures come from Reaper. Either Reaper bones or the metal ones. There you go. Okay. Okay, so maybe I can do now the shield. Maybe the orange will stick a little better now that it's dry. Hopefully. Yeah, as we say, Nathaniel, paper minis are great. They're great. And what are the ones you bought in plastic? Like the big bosses, monsters, or stuff like that? Okay, I can't manage to get the paint stick on this goddamn shield. Why is that spot in the middle not wanted to get painted? This is pretty fucking annoying. Oh, hey, Erasmus Expeditions. Hey, mate. Where do you come from? Which country? I'm curious. So, house in Texas. Hey, mate. Doing a little miniature painting. Reaper, amazing sculpts. I really like it. And now you can see the shield. I think now you can see it. I hope the quality of the live stream is good. Now you can see the light on the side, on the middle of the shield. You see it? It's ever slightly more. It's more lighter on the middle, and on the side it goes a bit darker. And this is not light effect, a real actual light effect. It's me. I've done this with the paint, and it gives a bit more volume. And the best thing is, if there's a little light, it will mix in with the ambient light and give very cool reflections. Actually, I like it. I don't know if it's the good solution, but I like how it looks like. Thanks. I'm happy with the results. But there's still a spot there, you probably can't see it, but as I told the others, I made the big rookie mistake of base coating these a while back in black, and this was one of the most stupid things I could have done, because the lighter paint is having a hard time sticking, not sticking, but standing bright on top of the black base coat. But I think I'm finally starting to get a hang on this, and finally starting to have a good rendition, a good render. Yeah, so it's New York here, Shubra. Okay. Yeah, I don't know all the others. I just showed one bear, but I have many of them that are actually better cuts. I took pictures. I didn't draw them myself because I wanted them to be very realistic. to match the rest of the characters, but you can draw it with an art style of your own, like Factorio Tabletop does it, and it's amazing. It's even more interesting, I think, to do it in your own style. But of course, you're gonna have you have to get the same style for the rest of your universe. Even the like the the terrain and the houses and the doors and stuff. Everything must be made in the same style. I have a very realistic approach. My doors are pretty realistic. My the I don't know the fireplace, for example. Everything is scaled pretty realistically. It's not very cartoony, but I definitely dig more cartoony styles. I have to wet this with pellets a little more. Using a mild color to go from black to final color sometimes work. Yes, I guess. Oh yes, you mean if I put some brown first? I could have. But actually, the first red I put on it, the dark red, covered it pretty well. But I mixed in the paint, the lighter colors of the shield to make the center pop out. The highlights on the center. I mixed it with a lot of water, and I didn't want to wait for it to dry. I wanted to go too fast. And when I mixed the colors, the central part, the paint didn't have time to adhere. The darker coats didn't have time to adhere on the blacks, so it was removed. But yeah, definitely making I could have started with a brown, I think, and then top it with dark red, and then lighter red, and then this slight orange on the middle. But finally, I've overcome the problem. Wet palette is good, huh? It's very nice. I have to put water in it because I've been painting these few days quite a lot, so the water has evaporated. But it's good. I did it after watching Black Magic Craft Jeremy tutorial, and I used this box that used to contain. It's pretty thin. It used to contain chocolates, and you can close it obviously to keep the moist. And I have to so you just have the how do you call that? Sopalin. Okay, I don't know how you call this in English, but with water it works pretty well. I'm sure all of you have already seen the Light Magic Craft episode. Damp. Yeah, it's not moist. Damp. Yeah, thanks. Chupa. Many people like the shop fronts. I think it's the video that has encountered the most success, which is nice. I'm really happy with the result as well. Just if you want to do it, make sure you don't put any water on top of the wood parts, because I did that mistake not on the shop fronts but on other pieces, and if you do that, all the wooden parts are gonna break and it's gonna be a total nightmare. So, but they look good, yeah. There are already several crafters that are doing their own, and it's pretty cool. Okay, I still haven't decided if I'm gonna actually put some kind of symbol on the shield. I think I'm not, but I'm probably gonna do some scratches. Give the impression it's battle tested. You know? modular runes. Yeah, I didn't watch this last video yet. I didn't watch it yet. I have to. The thing I really liked, that was, I think it wasn't Jeremy that got the idea, but he definitely made an episode where he showed how to make them, is the stacked up pieces, of stairs that you can combine to make blocks and, several things. And there's also Hankerin, who's done his own version. Super fast. His pieces are looking really done really fast. Doesn't look very well, but it's very functional, I guess. And this system is really cool. I think I'm gonna do those kind of pieces too. They're really nice, very useful as well. So I think I'm gonna do them. But the ruins, I didn't watch the video. I have to watch it. Okay, what am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now? I'm actually focusing really on this miniature. It wasn't really my first intention, but I think it's because I like this miniature, and subconsciously I want to finish it. So I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do what are you gonna do, Landvaettr? You're gonna do the boots, because they're made for walking. And I'm gonna do a very, very contrasted look. So I'm gonna go with actually a dark wash, dark tone. This live stream is a lot longer than expected. I mean, we've been here for 4 hours. I'm probably gonna stop in a quarter of an hour. I've even got some work to do and haven't really done it. So I'm gonna go for a wash, very dark wash, because I want the shadows on these boots to be very, very hard, because they are leathery. The gambizon isn't leathery, so even if I enhance the contrasts, the shadows aren't too strong on the gambizon, on the padded armor. But on the boots, I want something really contrast, with very strong contrast. Of course, this is the first step, because I'm gonna do some highlights afterwards. Of course. But it's a nice start. So don't put too much paint either. And make sure you don't have some pools of dark wash in spots where there isn't any recess, like on flat spots, because normally these flat spots are gonna be unlighted. So be careful. Always be vigilant. Okay. Thanks, mate. Well, have a nice lunch. I'm gonna end the live stream anyway in like 15 minutes max. Because my back is killing me and I've actually got some other stuff to do. So take care, man. And in about 10 to 15 minutes, all the other ones that are still on the live stream, I'm gonna cut the live stream. It was nice seeing you, painting a little bit, taking some time and talking with you guys. In 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna cut it. Okay? Peace. See ya. See, I've put these shades on the boots that already look good. And then I'm gonna do some highlights. Mainly on the top of the boots and on the top of the foot. And I'm gonna reinforce also some edges when there is actually the leather is compacted and there are some twists and turns in the surface of the leather. Okay. You know what? My back is killing me. I think I'm gonna end the live stream here. It's been going out for about nearly 4 hours, so I think it was quite a long live stream. So I'm gonna say goodbye. See you later to all of you. And I'll see you later in another video. It will probably be another live stream. I'm gonna be in holiday in a little while, not in much time, so I will have a little more time on my hand to make some tutorials. But for now, I'm still gonna paint these. So I'll do a live stream in a day or two, maybe a little more, again. So maybe you will be able to see us there. If not, I'll see you another time. I can't really schedule live stream because I basically do a live stream when I get time, and I'm not always sure I will get the time to do it. So it was nice having you. Have a great day or a great night, depending on the place you are on Earth. And I'll see you later for another episode or another live stream. See you guys. Bye.